Lance Schilling here with Behind the Pump, doing the integrity-driven Texas's most motivational people challenge here. And we have a really good story here with Lauren Lolo Brooks. Been overweight her whole life, and then finally found how to use fitness to better her life as well as her kids' life. And I think this story is really incredible. I think you guys are going to love it. So, Lauren, it's great to have you out here. Great to talk to you.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Was really, really incredible. That's obviously why I picked you. So, kind of start me off. What was your life like before you started learning how to take care of yourself better and hit the gym and feel better about yourself? Just tell me a little bit.
Just exhausting. I remember how exhausting just doing regular life was, and getting to work and taking care of a child and having to do that. I was just tired all the time, and I didn't feel good about myself, obviously. And just I had a lot of depression issues from it, I think my whole life, honestly.
So we're talking about tiring, but not just from a physical standpoint. But
no, emotionally draining. Just feeling bad about myself all the time. I think that most people know what it's like to be depressed alone, not only just being overweight, but it changed my life.
So you're depressed and overweight most of your life.
Mm-hmm.
What was a turning point for you that said, I'm going to change this? Because you have to keep in mind, most people, whenever they don't make the change.
Yeah, I think everybody has that pivotal moment, and everybody asks you. That's like the most popular question that I get asked. What happened? And I remember having a lot of circumstances in my life that were hitting rock bottom. I think everybody hits rock bottom in one way or another when they're ready to make that change. You kind of have to. And I remember weighing myself and looking in the mirror after I'd weighed myself, and I weighed more than I had in my entire life. And I I just looked at myself and didn't know. About 230.
230 pounds. And how tall are you?
I say 5'5". I'm 5'4" and 3/4.
5'4" and 3/4. So 5'5", 230 pounds.
And I looked myself in the mirror, and the first time I didn't see myself. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who was looking back at me, and that's a terrifying feeling to have it happen. And I just remember saying, I will never weigh this again. I will never step on the scale and weigh this again. And that's kind of what started it all for me.
So, what was your first step? Everybody has a first step, and I think that's the biggest thing is that people, they don't know how to take a first step, because you look at it, you're like, I'm 230 and I want to be 130 or whatever your goal is, and you're just trying to look at there instead of saying, I need to start off with a treadmill.
Yeah.
What was it that you were able to start off with that at least got your foot in the door of making things better?
I had kind of worked out and gotten in semi-shape a couple of times in life, so I knew that if I moved my body that I would lose some weight. So I went on bodybuilding.com. I knew that was a popular resource, and got some ideas for diet, because that's kind of where my knowledge was lacking. I knew if I even ran as much as I could on the treadmill, that's how I started. When people ask me, hey, not obsessive crazy, but how can I start doing this? And that's what I did. I just looked up some diet ideas. I packed my food. I loaded up my daughter in the car. It was still dark outside. Took her to daycare. Was there before they even opened the doors. And went for an hour in the morning and did it every day for 3 years.
Wow. So for 3 years. So during this 3-year period, tell me about some of the emotional differences that you noticed, because, here you are, you're depressed, you feel terrible about yourself, you probably settled for the kind of people in your life that would at least be around you. So you're settling for bad relationships. How did that start to change for you?
I think that after I just started making the change and seeing the differences, because it's really hard when you start, because sometimes you're dieting and you don't see any difference. And that's something that I had to learn, is that sometimes you'll go weeks and not see anything, and learning your body, and then sometimes you'll go and lose 6 pounds in a week. Everybody's body's different. It did my self-confidence, not only in myself physically, but in my career as a mom. Everything is completely different.
So you felt the bleed through. You found success in one and you look for success in the other.
Yeah, just in my career, a huge difference. The average, what someone makes in my career is like $35,000 a year. I broke 60 last year. And
I need a sugar mama.
Quit it. But it really does. It bleeds through into everything. I want to be the kind of mom that can climb a tree. I have friends who can't. I went to a field trip with my daughter this last week. Went to the pumpkin patch, and I saw who I used to be as a mom. And I had all these kids going, please, can we be on your team? Can we go? And we were running everywhere and doing everything, and being able to do that, and my daughter to be so proud that I can, because I remember how many days that I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get off the couch. I just didn't want a mom, you know?
Why was that?
I think just because I felt so bad about who I was, and life was just so exhausting. Just going to work on top of being a single parent exhausted me. And it's hard to think that I can work out and exhaust myself more and have more energy. When you start, you don't really think that way, that I could go and kill myself for an hour and be able to get through my day easier.
You know, it's the emotional part that really, it brings you down. And I mean, emotionally, you're just beating yourself down. You don't feel good about you. You don't feel good about anything, you know, and so here you are now, you're changing that, and you're being this incredible role model for your daughter, which is something young girls in this world can't get enough of, and here you are doing it.
It's something that puts a lot of guilt on you too. I've had a lot of issue with the mom guilt of her having the long days, and just feeling bad that I put her through going to the gym twice a day at some points, and but I really try to see myself through her eyes and see what she sees, and see me waking up at 5 a.m. and see me prepping my food, and then hopefully looking back one day and remembering there were things that I couldn't do that I can do now with her and for her.
Absolutely.
Even just being that tiger of a mom, like I feel like I need to be strong enough to protect my child from this world, whether it be a car in a parking lot or whatever the case is, and thinking about not being able to run and catch her, you know, when she was a toddler or something like that, and how different that is now.
You know, I think it's really a key thing that, you know, the weight loss is just such a surface level thing to me. It really is. I love the kind of person that you are. I think you have the best energy, and like your daughter sees that, and she gets to vibe off of that, and the confidence that you exude, and you're leading by example, you know, and not just for her, but for other people that are out there. If you had to look into the camera and just there's another woman out there that feels how you felt. She doesn't feel good about herself, but she doesn't have the strength at all. She doesn't have the know-how. You know, maybe you just got it and you had it. Just put yourself in that person's situation. I just want you to look in the camera. I just want you to tell them what they could do to change their life now, or some words of inspiration to keep them going. You know, we just got off somebody was suicidal.
Yeah.
Help them out. So if you could look in the camera, just tell them.
I think that everybody has been at a point where they feel like they can't do it. I feel that way sometimes still. I don't think that voice ever completely goes away, but it does quiet when you tell yourself that you can. Your body tells you that you can't, your mind tells you that you can't, and you just have to tell it that I am. I started wanting to feel sexy about myself again, to feel confident, to feel like a woman, like I felt like a woman should feel, and to be a better mom and a better person, and for my mental health. Honestly, I really need it for my mental health, and it's been an amazing outlet for me, just to go and be able to show myself every day still at 5 o'clock in the morning that I can go and that I can get through it, and anybody can. I know that there's a million other things to do in your day, but it is worth the investment in yourself more than you can ever imagine, to your kids if you have them, to your partner, to your career. I can't think of a single aspect of my life that is not better because of this journey and because of who it's made me as a person. And I can honestly say that not only would I not be where I am, but I don't think that I would even be here, period, if it wasn't for this change in my life. I am Lolo Brooks, and this is my story.